Never has the herd mentality been more clearly delineated than right now, as this never-ending pandemic marches on. The fear factor is easy to understand. Every conventional media outlet and social media and the federal government and Joey, well, they've been pumping out the fear porn 24/7 for nearly 2 years, and there is no end in sight. And so billions globally and hundreds of millions here in the USA have received vaccinations, and that's great. People have a right to do whatever they need to do to protect themselves. But somewhere, a few months back, things took a very dark and sinister turn. And that can be blamed on one solitary person. Joey Bag of Maggots Biden. Yeah, you know him. That tottering fossil who lives in that big mansion. The guy with the used car salesman's grip and grin over dentures. Yeah, the hair plugs and the facelift. The self-proclaimed nice guy. Well, he's been telling one lie after another. First, he said he would never force anyone to take a vaccine, which, by the way, really isn't a vaccine.
I don't think it should be mandatory. I wouldn't demand to be mandatory.
Then he said if we did take the vaccine, we would be immune.
The various shots that people are getting now cover that. You're okay. You're not going to get COVID if you have these vaccinations.
Then he said you did have to get vaccinated, and if you didn't, he'd make sure you had no job.
The Labor Department is going to shortly issue an emergency rule, which I asked for several weeks ago, and they're going through the process, to require all employees with more than 100 people, whether they work for the federal government or not, this is within in the purview of the Labor Department, to ensure their workers are fully vaccinated.
Then he said we weren't getting vaxxed fast enough, and he was pissed off. The veiled threat.
Over 200 million Americans have gotten at least one shot. We've been patient, but our patience is wearing thin.
But this biggest, most dangerous lie, the one that really should get him a lifetime jail sentence, if not more, was this one.
Because what is happening in America right now is a pandemic of the unvaccinated. Let me say that again. It's a pandemic of the unvaccinated.
That's Joey painting a target on millions of innocent people. That's Joey giving his people, his herd mentality supporters, a license to discriminate, to abuse, to intimidate, to coerce, and to hate those who have dared disobey his commands. Even if tens of millions have already had COVID and are protected by their natural antibodies, that's not good enough for Joey, because he's the big boss man. Yeah, the guy with the diapers and hair plugs and the teetering gait, who can barely form a sentence. And so his most incomprehensible word salads and mumbles are law. All current statistics now show it is not a pandemic of the unvaccinated, but of the vaccinated. From Israel to Ireland, across the globe and around these United States, the majority of folks hospitalized with the China virus are vaccinated. How did this happen?